thanks for being here. Thanks for that. And been a lot of days in my life that I've been proud to be a Detroit Lion and a quarterback in the NFL, one of 32 guys that gets to do what I get to do on a daily basis, and part of a team that gets to go out and play games on Sundays and play in front of crowds and win games and do all that. But probably never more of an off season and really of a day today than that I've been more proud to be a part of this team and a member of this team and a member of the NFL and do what I do. It's an incredible group of guys that we have in this locker room, led by a coach that is, unwavering in his, in his, ability to give us space to talk. I talked about it all off season with everybody on these calls, but on our Zoom calls, it was incredible. What an incredible off season we had with conversations about everything that's going on in America at the moment. And, we had another one of those today and have really spent all morning talking about it. And you got to give a ton of credit to Coach, for allowing us to do that. And then, just incredible guys on this team. Never been more proud, like I said, to be a part of it, and just to be somebody there to help and listen. So with that, I'll take a couple questions from y'all.
All right, we'll do 2 questions, Larry, then Dave.
Matthew, can you just kind of give us a thumbnail of the timeline of how this all went down? Like, what time's the team meeting and just kind of share what you can about the series of events that led to this?
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you a little bit. We had our team meeting this morning, and no football was talked about. We were brought together, and Coach just opened the floor. We knew there were going to be guys in there that had heavy hearts and guys that had similar situations or close calls that have happened to them and needed to get it off their chest. And those conversations lasted for hours, and it was incredible to be a part of it, just like it was all spring. But it was the first time that, we've really dedicated a chunk of time to talk about it when we're all in the building together. And, as much as interaction as we can even have on these Zooms, you guys know nothing substitutes being in person. And feeling what my teammates are feeling and what they're going through, it hurts. It hurts a lot. Deck talked about it, man. It's when people you care about go through things like that, it's tough. And I wish America, I wish everybody could be on these calls or be in these meetings. I feel so lucky and privileged to be a part of it, to be, to really have grown up in the sport and spent so many days in locker rooms with people from all over the world and looking all sorts of different ways, coming together. And today was no different. Coach gave us a 45-minute break kind of after a really heavy team meeting and without any thought, everybody just kind of grouped up in the locker room and started talking and, figuring out how can we do something. And it just happened organically. It was never, planned or thought about at the beginning of the day. It just guys having conversation and it's pretty powerful stuff.
Quick follow-up was there has to be a person who says, let's not practice today. Who is that?
Football is the last thing on our mind at the moment, to be honest with you. Funny you would take it there, but the biggest thing for us was how do we get our voices heard? We have a lot of guys in this locker room with a lot to say and a lot of guys that are extremely smart and talented speakers and understand so much of what's going on. So it was great to give them that platform and let those guys talk. And it was really cool to be a part of, a team thing that was so unified. We're in the locker room and everybody's in there and we're all just trying to figure out a way to make it help or make a change and help out. The last thing we thought about was playing football.
Not trying to be funny. I'm just trying to think, did coach say, hey, if you guys don't want to practice today, we don't have to, or guys said, hey, let's not practice. That's all I was trying to get at there.
I understand what you're saying. Yep. I think, Coach was open to anything and everything, understanding the gravity of the situation.
Do one more, Dave, and then we'll have a couple other guys.
Yep, Matthew, maybe you addressed this in what you just said, but can you just explain why today was so emotional, so powerful? I mean, you guys have had these conversations before. Is it because it's happening again? Is it because everyone was in person? Why was today so deep and so meaningful and so powerful to everyone?
I think it was a combination of both of those things. It was the first time, like I said, that we've all been in the same room to talk about it, and had the ability to see each other's faces and really be in the same room and just feel that. Obviously, it's something that continues to happen. And, the level of frustration and anger is real. It's palpable. The firsthand stories from my teammates is something that to the day I die, I'll never forget. This off season, even today, guys telling stories that they haven't told anybody before, and they feel comfortable enough in our locker room to tell the guys and the coaches, everybody that's in there. It was incredible. It's awesome. I love being a part of it. It's such an incredible feeling, and hopefully, just the beginning. But I'm just proud to be the quarterback of this team. Proud to be a part of this organization, and just really, really happy to be a part of it today. And that's about all I got.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matthew. Thank you, guys. We'll have Trey up next.
Appreciate it.
Justin? Justin, I believe you're muted.
Can you hear me now, Trey?
Yep.
Sorry about that. Battery's down here on the laptop. Trey, you were one of the players that spoke there. I'm just wondering, how comfortable are you in the role being a voice here and your own family's experience? How much does that play into being a voice on these issues?
Throughout that locker room, I think we got a lot of different voices. Obviously, a lot of different people experience different things, and I'm just one of them. So, I don't think my voice is, more important than anyone else's. I was just, we wanted to keep it kind of, a direct message, and one thing that y'all didn't see was a lot of discussion behind the door. So, and there was a lot of heavy voices, a lot of heavy hearts, and a lot of words being said. So, but I was just one of the ones that spoke in front of y'all. But it's a lot of voices on these teams. So.
Go Ken Brown, then Steve Courtney.
Hey Trey, how you doing?
Oh,
Want to know if you talked to other players around the league, or did other players around the league know when guys were actually doing this, and has there been any feedback about other teams maybe following along after this, or how's that working?
Nah, we was this was all in-house, us in in the locker room. We just kind of, like I said, it was a lot of discussion, a lot of different things going around, a lot of great thoughts, and we came up with this one as a unit. So that's one of the things I wanted to make sure I stress, that this is unified as a team, us sticking together, and so it wasn't any. I don't think nobody known outside the walls or anything like that, but it was just us as a team. So
Go Steve Courtney.
All right, thanks.
Hey, prior to your arrival, Matthew Stafford mentioned that football was the last thing on your minds today for all the right reasons. How difficult is it concentrating on a season that's got a question mark with the pandemic, with the increased social injustice going on?
mm-hmm.
From a player standpoint, how difficult is that?
Yeah, we dealing with times right now where it's something shaking in the world, and it's definitely a unprecedented time to where, when it comes with the pandemic, but then, something that's probably been going on for quite some time is with the social injustice going on. So, it's just important, you know, for people to understand that, yes, we, you know, we're football players, we're in camp, we're in the bubble, but, you know, like I said out there, you know, we have brothers, we have sons, we have fathers, we have cousins, nephews that, you know, they're not in camp. They're not in a bubble. They really have to go and deal with real world situations. So, you know, that it's tough, but, you know, we understand that, you know, we all have a job to do. And like Duron said, you know, we'll play football, but we'll also change the world with our platform. So
I will do one more, Rod Beard.
Trey, how much have you learned from what the NBA was able to do with their platform and the messaging they're doing on the back of the jerseys and Black Lives Matter on the court? Are there lessons from that you can take and maybe try to get the Lions to do, or maybe to push for the NFL to do, to have a similar type of impact?
Yeah, it's definitely in discussion as far as, you know, amongst teammates, amongst, you know, us here in this organization, as far as what we want to do, unified. So, and like I said, I want to keep stressing that we are all in this together. We are, you know, one unit, and we are making decisions. Any decision we make as a team, you know, every single person is in their locker room and inside these walls is in agreement with. So, you know, whatever we do, we want to make sure that, you know, we stay together and stick together. So, you know, as far as us seeing what the NBA is doing, and, you know, and them shedding their light on, you know, shedding light on certain situations, the way they are, then, you know, we definitely, you know, have some ideas, have some conversations brewing. And, you know, it's just one thing, you know, we understand that about America and about people in America is that, you know, the narrative can kind of get shifted. And we understand that it's a sacrifice. You know, you might step on some toes, you might ruffle some feathers, but in order for change to happen, in order for something to happen, you know, someone has to be uncomfortable. And, you know, I think everyone inside these walls understand what it's going to come with, the backlash that it may come with, you know, how the media try to depict it, how, you know, fans try to depict it, how they, you know, say is no room for politics in football. But, you know, like I said, we football players, but we humans. And everyone in this world is a human. So, you know, just because, and you know, I want to say this as far as that being our brother, that being our father, we are our brothers, the human race. You know, we are all one. And once we realize that and overcome just the difference of skin color, the difference of culture, then, you know, we'll start to love one another, treat others as they are us. And I think that's one of the things that, you know, when people look at a message or see something, they have to see it as, you know, themselves, like that's them going through this situation. So, you know, so for us, we're going to have conversations, we're going to spread a message, and we're going to do it as a team. And we understand, you know, that the narrative, you know, somebody's going to try to screw the narrative, try to, you know, get the message lost, but we're going to stay focused on the topic, and we're going to push the narrative, the proper narrative, and we're going to push it with our, you know, whole hearts and, you know, as a unit together. So
Appreciate it, Trey.
Yeah.
Thank you, Trey. We're going to have Duron Harmon and Taylor Decker up next, guys. Justin?
Hey, Duron, really powerful stuff out there in the parking lot. I can only imagine how much more powerful it was this morning. Can you maybe take us through how you came into the building this morning and how maybe this whole thing got to the point where you guys decided to come out as a team?
Well, you know, first of all, just coming into the building this morning was tough. you obviously got that, going on with Jacob Blake, and you just try to, fathom just how a situation can escalate to something like that. So that's just obviously something that's been on my heart, just in my mind the last day. And, I prayed before I came in to try to, clear my mind because, obviously in the profession that I'm in, I mean, everything is based off, results, how you perform. But I talked to Josh Schuler, our strength and conditioning coach, this morning. We had a conversation. Just he was asking me, my feelings, my thoughts. It was well, and then we came in and to the team meeting, and Coach Matty P kind of just pulled everybody aside and said, I mean, what happened, on Sunday evening was terrible, shouldn't happen, and he kind of just opened up the space for us just to talk, and that conversation and just went everywhere. I mean, from people talking about experiences to people talking about just their feelings toward the event that the tragic event that took place on Sunday. And then after we got done that meeting, conversation started in the locker room, and then everybody's gathered around. We're just trying to figure out what we can do to not only bring light to the situation of what happened and how it's wrong just with police brutality, but how can we as a team create change not only amongst ourselves but amongst the community, so that when things like this happen, we're speaking on it and putting the pressure on officials to do the right thing and prosecute these officers to the fullest extent.
I imagine you guys had some conversations around the time George Floyd was unfortunately killed, but this seemed to be, you guys were in person. Maybe it was that kind of you guys have been on the field for a couple weeks together, and maybe this was more of a tipping point for this organization.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, like you said, the George Floyd, obviously we had our conversations about that, and we spent time as a team, talking through and thinking about things that we couldn't do. And we were in the midst of, coming up with ideas of how we can, continue to voice our opinions and our concerns with police brutality, social injustice, and systematic racism. But today, I mean, like you said, it was the tipping point. I mean, why wait? Why wait to do something? And I mean, so many great leaders on the team, from Matt to Trey to Taylor. I mean, guys that really came out there and said, we're going to do something today. And we can only, be appreciative to our head coach who, listened to how we were feeling and kind of let us set, set what we wanted to do. And today, practice wasn't on any of our minds. What was on our mind is just the tragic event, Jacob Blake being shot in his back 7 times. Like, just let that sit in and think about that real quick. An unarmed guy, trying to get in his car, and he was shot in his back, 7 times while 3 of his children were in the car. What if that bullet would have ricocheted off something and killed one of his kids? Would that be enough to prosecute, the officers? Like, it was reckless behavior. And I think sometimes, police officers think that they can just get away with anything. And I mean, you just look at it. History has shown that they have been able to get away with a lot of stuff. And I think it's at the point of time where, we have to hold the police to a higher standard. Taking somebody's life because you can't, arrest them, that's not okay. It's not okay to kill somebody because you feel like you can't subdue them. Like, no. Like, you need to be better at your job. Like, you do what you had to do to subdue him. Don't freaking shoot him in the back in front of his kids. It's not okay. And it never will be okay. And we're going to make sure, this organization is going to make sure that we speak out on it. We can't be silent no more. Nobody can be silent. If you're being silent, you're okay with it. You're okay with what's happening. And nobody in this organization, nobody on this team is okay with it. So we're going to do our part to create change.
Thank
Ron,
you.
thank you. Guys, we'll have Taylor Decker right up after this.
Taylor, powerful stuff from all you guys today, and I can only imagine how much more powerful it was to be in that meeting. Duron was just talking a little bit about not letting this go, and some of the other ideas, I guess, that maybe are floating around on how you guys can affect change. Can you share some of those? What is sort of the next step? What can you guys continue to do, I guess, to make sure that things change?
Well, I'll start by saying that we were having conversations about these issues all throughout the spring, but everybody was where they were, different states all over the place. And while it was powerful, it wasn't as powerful as us getting together here and discussing it face to face, man to man, being able to voice your opinion, your feelings. And I think the thing that really hit home today for me is we get back here in camp and we're in our football bubble. But that doesn't mean social injustices aren't happening. And we were able to come in today, and coach has done a great job since the spring about letting guys, express how they think, how they feel. And that was a big learning experience for me. Just listening to my teammates, and I said it before, the guys I care about, the guys I love, and what their experience is, and to try to be able to understand. So we've floated ideas of action we want to take, because the big thing is to put words into action, and you got to be actionable about it. We do have the platform to be able to hopefully incite some change, hopefully make some changes. And that's going to happen. That's going to happen. I said it today to the team. Why can't we be the catalyst? There's a lot of intelligent guys with a lot of great ideas. Why can't we be the change? And that's why today we came and had that conversation. And then we got in the locker room together and we said, we're feeling this now. So let's do something now. Let's show that it's important and it needs to change now. And like I said, we have ideas, and I'm not going to float any out there right now, because we're going to come together as a unified front and decide what the actions in the next step is going to be. But there will be actions and there will be next steps, because we're all members of this community. We all come from different backgrounds, all different parts of the country, black, white, brown, whatever it may be, but we're all here as a team. And we want to make a change, and change is hard. We know it's hard. I think everybody knows change is hard, but that doesn't mean it's not necessary.
One more, Chris.
Hey, Taylor. I think we all could hear some of the emotion in your voice while you were speaking out there. And you mentioned, this isn't necessarily, your story, or you haven't had to face some of the challenges that your teammates had to face. So why was it important for you personally to get up and talk today and to express some of those opinions from your vantage point?
I mean, I think you hit it on the head that, I had a teammate share that his mom checks every single day to make sure he made it home. And he said to her, well, Mom, I'm at work all day. I just go straight home. I don't do anything else. And she said, well, you got a 23-minute drive every day. And I don't know what's happening for that 23 minutes. And then I thought about, and I shared it out there. I was driving home the other day. Romeo Okora was driving by me, hit me up, said, you got a headlight out. And the same guy whose mother was concerned about him getting home was concerned that he had a out-of-state license plate and a different ID, and what might happen because of that. I have an out-of-state ID. I got a Michigan license plate. I got a headlight out. And not for 1 second was I concerned about making it home or my safety. And hearing the pain and the voices of guys that I care about, guys that I love, guys that are great men, great fathers, great husbands, they shouldn't have to go through that. And, you know, I want them to know that I'm here for them, because we are a brotherhood. And at the end of the day, we're all humans who want to be loved, safe, secure, and happy. And you shouldn't have to look over your shoulder and worry about your well-being. So, like I said, the spring was a big learning experience for me, getting other guys' perspectives that aren't my perspective. But I thought it was important for them to know that I care about them and I love them, and I want that change too. And I want everybody to be loved, safe, secure, and happy.
Thank you, Taylor. Thanks, everyone. We'll have Coach up next.
Thanks.
And, you know, the team's been working really hard, and certainly we walk into another situation today where, you know, I think everybody felt it wasn't about football today. I think everyone had heavy hearts and everyone's had really, you know, thoughts and conversation. And I guess for myself, I just thought I didn't really feel right about going into practicing. I didn't feel about going out there and trying to run some football drill without just talking to our team. You know, as far as I'm concerned, you know, when things go, you know, when things are hard in the world, there's two things that I check. And, you know, first is my family. And then the second is, you know, is this football team and the guys in that locker room, and making sure that everybody's okay. And that was my mindset walking in today, was just to make sure that everybody was okay. And honestly, you know, there was a long conversation and a lot of listening. You know, again, Trey Flowers said something in the spring to me that was so impactful to me. You know, he just said, you know, he said it can be so simple, just listen. And it's something that stuck with me, and certainly was on my mind this morning, and I just wanted to listen. And there was some amazing conversation, and really, you know, I just give credit to our players for being open and caring for each other and loving each other enough to have that conversation, to share, to trust, to have that space to, you know, to speak and to listen. So, I mean, I know, you know, there's the football side of it, but, you know, quite frankly, you know, if we made a difference or we impacted people that affects them in the long run, you know, football's only for so long. So I think that was what was important for us today. And I'm just proud of our guys, you know, the players in that locker room, for speaking and leading. You know, this is a player-led team. There's no doubt. These guys are they're super intelligent, super smart, and they have some amazing things to say that, you know, quite frankly, I just have to listen and follow. So that's really what started today, and that's kind of where we are right now. But just proud of our players. You know, I challenge everybody to do this. I challenge everybody in the league to do it, you know, to go out there and continue these conversations and to listen. And, you know, those are real stories. And I think when the guys, you know, when they pour their heart out, and you have 80 men, you know, 100 men, coaches, whatever it is, in a room, and people are pouring their heart out as far as how they feel and feelings across the board. But really also expressing the vulnerability that goes behind some of those feelings. It's impactful, and you know, we want to be part of the solution. So I'll open it up to questions.
Guys, we'll do a few questions. Justin Rose.
Hey, Matt. Did you, this morning when you walked in the building, Duron said he was having a conversation with the strength and conditioning coach, and then that kind of trickled into the team meeting. And then did you anticipate this morning, or when you got to the building thinking, all right, another week, man, here we go, and then you kind of heard it? Is that kind of how it transpired, or did you come into the building already kind of having a preconceived notion you guys were going to talk about it today?
You know, honestly, you know, for the most part, I kind of, I'm in my own little bubble here in the football world. And sometimes I miss things that happen. And it was one of those things that, you know, I'd heard something last night. And then when I got into the building this morning, really started to look and see and listen to what was going on. And honestly, my thoughts and my heart was on that subject and that subject alone. So didn't necessarily know what direction I was going to go with that. But, you know, like I said, thankfully for our players, you know, they helped lead that.
It's unprecedented territory as far as like this shift that the seismic shift that we're seeing in our culture. Just knowing that this team's going out there and wanting to be a face of it for the NFL at this particular time. How proud of these guys are you?
Yeah. I mean, there's not even words to express that. Right. I mean, talk about brave guys going out there and certainly young men that are much more involved with the social media world, obviously, than I am. So, they all know there's immediate feedback. They all know that there's immediate response, but the strength and the power and the unity, I think that's, that was unbelievable today. So this team's, the group of men that we have in that locker room, like that's a good group of men, man. I love those guys. So, we obviously understand the football side of it, but it's not about football today.
Wojo?
Matt, the players talked about, can't be silent, have to, take actions and take the next step. What do you think the next step or the next action is, if there is one that you guys have discussed, or it's so hard to figure out at this time? What do you think is the next step in this?
Yeah. I don't know if I have a really good answer for you right now, other than I know the first thing is that we just keep listening, and making sure that we're paying attention to what's being said. And we got a lot of young guys with some great ideas and thoughts, and certainly we'll continue to try to put our words into actions and try to make a difference. If just by today and, the conversations we had this morning in the locker room and hopefully what we were able to put out, if that affects, one person and helps one person, then, it's worth it. So we're just continuing to put those ideas and thoughts together and try to just keep getting the stories out there. I think that's the biggest thing. And like I said, maybe there's a chain reaction here that started with some of the other teams, and maybe it pushes forward that way, which would be great.
Last question, Rod.
Matt, obviously the NFL is a little different than the NBA, which has been more outspoken on these issues. What can you take from what the NBA has done and maybe make this a more packageable message for folks in the NBA who tend to be a little bit more conservative about it?
It's good. I'm probably out of the loop on the NBA as far as some of the stuff. I mean, I see, what's just kind of out there. I know for us, just to be honest with you, I know for us, what's really important is just that, as a group that, Taylor Decker spoke about it too. It's just, we always look at football as life. And for us, we relate everything to football, and certainly the lessons that we learn in football. I always like to apply those to life. But one of the things that stares us in the face every single day is that, if you take a group of men from all different backgrounds, every different part of the country, every different journey, every different story, and put them in the locker room and they have one common goal and everyone pushes for it, it's, in the family atmosphere that we create, why isn't that like that everywhere? And that's pretty powerful. It's pretty amazing statement. So I think we just kind of look at our situation and try to do the best we can to get our message out there from that standpoint. So not really sure from an NBA standpoint.
Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you, everyone, for your flexibility today.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I know, it probably came across a little bit, obviously, without everybody knowing what was going on, but I do appreciate everybody's patience and flexibility with that. It just really was just listening to the team. So, I appreciate that.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you, Matt. We appreciate it.